Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital pioneers Chinese and Western medicine to treat young children with cerebral palsy. Ormoc Great Love Village experienced a fire burning down one house, though no one was injured. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is DI Headlines. Let's get started. Premature birth is the main cause of cerebral palsy in children. Because of lack of oxygen to the brain, limb activities will be affected. Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital combines rehabilitation and speech therapy, along with acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine to treat such children to very good results. Take a look.
Little boy Lin was born with cerebral palsy due to lack of oxygen in his brain. He started to receive acupuncture since he was young. At about 1 year old, we heard from others that acupuncture may help children with cerebral palsy, so we gave it a try. After more than a year of combined therapy of Chinese and Western medicine, the 5-year-old little boy Lin finally made significant progress in language, movement, and emotion. His tendons are a bit softer. Originally, his whole back was edged up. He seems to walk more easily. His language is also better. He can speak more words and can pronounce more. This 1-year-old baby boy also suffered from premature birth, resulting in hydrocephalus and cerebral palsy. It was originally estimated that he might be paralyzed all over the body. After a combined treatment of Chinese and Western medicine, his condition has also improved. In the beginning, he held his fingers and thumb tightly in. Although currently he still cannot grab anything, at least he has the motion to grab a climb. In the combined Chinese and Western medicine therapies, Western medicine focuses on limb rehabilitation and speech therapy, while Chinese medicine uses acupuncture and medication to promote children's brain development. Appropriate stimulation helps relax muscle tension and enhance limb mobility.
Chinese medicine or rehabilitation with Western medicine actually are the same. Both of the treatment, if applied early, would bring a better effect on the overall recovery of the sick children. Through clinical study, we found that the sooner the children receive treatment, their cerebral palsy will gradually be relieved or improve.
Combined therapies of Chinese and Western medicine help sick children to make progress bit by bit, bring more confidence and encouragement to parents.
A 15-month-old boy broke the record for being the lightest person to ever make an organ donation in Taiwan. He died of prolonged hypoxia, and his family decided to donate his kidneys to show the spirit of great love. His kidneys were transplanted into a pair of young girls so that they can avoid a lifetime of dialysis. After 1 year, the 2 little girls are now very healthy.
This little girl was singing happily with her dad, while this one gave a lovely hug to her grandma. These 2 girls have lived through dialysis in the past few years, but now both of them received a transplanted kidney from the same person.
Back then, the doctor told us that she was in a critical situation, had no way to save her but to wait for a miracle.
She needed to undergo kidney dialysis 5 times a day. She would go home to have a dialysis in between classes, then return to the school after that. 2 little girls have to struggle with illness since youth. In the face of acute renal failure, the best treatment is to have a kidney transplant. However, there are few young kidney donors. Also, the removal and implantation operations are very difficult. After transplantation, there is a high occurrence of complications as well. In fact, the chances are not many. Until last year, a miracle of love appeared. A 1-year-old boy with only 9.8 kilograms died of hypoxia and donated his bilateral kidneys. The medical team immediately started a 15-hour operation.
The blood vessels of infants are very tiny, so even after you fuse them together, according to the transplantation statistics around the world, the incidence of thrombosis may be more than 50%. For the blood vessels connection, it must be done in the aorta and inferior vena cava, which is very dangerous and very difficult.
This donor is only 15 months old, so his kidneys as well as their functions will grow with the recipient. After the past year of transplantation, the size of these kidneys is almost the size of an adult kidney.
This operation has broken the records of the latest ever deceased organ donor and successful transplantation of 2 kidneys into separate recipients in the country. After tracking the transplant for 1 year, both little girls have grown up successfully, continuing their life journeys with this hard-earned love.
Hualien Tzu is over 70 years old, and yet since May of last year, he has been reporting to duty at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, volunteering to assist in the pandemic prevention. Take a look.
Helping to disinfect the general public entering the hospital, Hualien Tzu, who is over 70, has been shouldering the responsibility of pandemic prevention since May of 2020.
The hospital is to safeguard the health of the people. If everyone is healthy and we can help by carrying out pandemic safety measures, then that means I'm helping keep everyone healthy.
He once was on the construction team at Tzu Chi Foundation. He not only was a good construction member, but he also promoted Tzu Chi's humanitarian lessons at his construction site. After his retirement, he found he had heart problems, but he remains active in Tzu Chi.
There are a lot of older people here in the countryside. They don't understand why they just went out for a bite to eat and can't go in anymore. So you need to think of a way to guide them to the other entrances.
He participates in the early morning Dharma lessons with the master, so when he's also participating in the pandemic safety measures, it means he's spending 6 days a week in Tzu Chi. He's very dedicated. You can see him active in many activities. He's such a passionate volunteer.
Not afraid of the threat of the virus, he remains at his post, safeguarding the hospital, in turn also safeguarding the public's health and safety.
In order to eliminate the pandemic, baking volunteers at the Tzu Chi Zhongshan Liaison Office made whole wheat multi-grain toast to raise funds for COVID vaccines. With limited space and equipment, 80 loaves of bread were made in one morning. Let's meet them there.
With the concept of nutrition and health, the whole wheat loaf is kneaded with blessings and love from volunteers.
As I owned a bakery before, I can make this kind of bread to thank our members who made donation for vaccines. The money earned for selling bread can also be used to buy vaccines again, achieving double benefits.
The baking team of the Tzu Chi Zhongshan Liaison Office can make 80 loaves of toast in one morning. With limited space, volunteers made their own fermentation tanks using an old method.
This is all designed by myself. Similar to 50 years ago in Taiwan, charcoal was used to boil hot water in a wooden box so as to obtain the temperature and humidity for fermentation. Now we use an induction cooker to boil hot water and also then ramp up all the dough with a plastic cloth.
The ovens are also second-hand.
Both of the ovens were given by someone. They have already been used for a while, over 10 years. We're now making good use of them for baking, turning their functions into good use. This is taught by the master.
Doing good deeds with the handmade bread to cultivate blessings, making contributions in epidemic prevention.
The Tzu Chi Vaccination Center in Perak, Malaysia encourages workers not to leave the premises to take their lunch. Volunteers set up a kitchen team to help feed everyone with healthy meals. Take a look.
To fight the pandemic, the Tzu Chi Vaccination Center in Perak encourages the workers there to eat in. Thus, a kitchen volunteer team was formed.
There are 3 major ethnicity groups here having lunch, so in the beginning, we didn't have a good grasp of what they preferred to eat.
The first week, to be honest, it was like not to our taste. So I'm used to vegetarian, but when I come to a Chinese type of vegetarian food here for the first time here, it was too dry.
Their efforts went to waste as the food wasn't eaten. The volunteers took on this challenge to find a more suitable taste for everyone.
We looked for about 7 vegetarian restaurants, even Indian food, and talked to them about our needs. 1 or 2 of the restaurants worked really well with us, and slowly they were able to provide the type of food we needed.
To decrease the rate of cross-infection, the vaccination center's lunchtime is limited to 15 minutes. Tzu Chi volunteers also prepared snacks and herbal tea during each meal.
We are masked the whole time and don't let them get their own food. It's always one person, one individual lunchbox.
After 1 or 2 weeks, the food changed drastic. The taste changed drastic. One of the first thing I could remember is the butter veggie chicken something. Till I took back 2 bunkos to my house, I gave my family to try it. So it was very, very nice. From that on, we had some desserts, fruits. This have given a new perspective of a vegetarian food from a Chinese style.
The vegetarian dishes that Tzu Chi is providing at the vaccination center is helping to widen the horizons of people they might not have reached before, successfully promoting vegetarianism.
In the Philippines, Ormoc Great Love Village experienced a fire on October 1st. The fire burned down a house and no one was harmed, as the fire was quickly put out by residents and volunteers who quickly pitched in and worked together to put out the fire. During the fire, the teamwork and spirit of residents moved Tzu Chi volunteers. Take a look.
People from nearby neighborhoods all came to help.
When we saw the smoke, we immediately reacted to it and knew that it was a fire hazard.
People called me and told me about my daughter's house was on fire. I immediately ran back to my house in hopes of saving some items, but the fire was too big, so I couldn't enter the house. We don't know what started the fire.
After the fire was put down, only 1 household was affected and no reported injury or deaths, as villagers make thankful remarks.
We are glad that only the walls are burnt down. I am also thankful to the fire truck located in our village.
We are really thankful to Tzu Chi for reacting to the fire hazard quickly, so that the fire didn't spread further. We also didn't receive any reports of injuries.
So far, wala man tayo reported sa pagkakaroon na injury or wala pa reported ana.
At Ormoc Great Love Village, residents utilized the power of teamwork, saving each other during the hazard while caring for one another.
Jibeng County's Environmental Protection Bureau is hosting a National Marine Day with the theme of marine waste upcycling. Tzu Chi Foundation used over 700 plastic bottles to make a whale, naming the art project Whale Tears, to remind people not to throw their garbage into the ocean.
Among the dance performances of the festival, a big whale is in the middle of the plaza, attracting the attention of the young and old.
When you leave the house, you should prepare your own shopping bag and use less plastic bags. You shouldn't throw garbage on the ground to create marine trash, otherwise the fish might eat it and die.
This art piece is made up of over 700 plastic bottles. It is named Whale's Tear to remind residents of the need to protect the environment.
Due to eating marine garbage, many ocean animals die, like whales who beach themselves. These are the results of humans throwing garbage into the ocean.
Reducing garbage starts from daily life. This activity not only promotes vegetarianism, but also is a way to reduce the rise in Earth's temperature. Through the game, the residents understand that solving the marine garbage problem must begin right now.
In the ocean, there is a lot of garbage and microplastic hurting every aspect of our lives. The amount of garbage on Earth has become a very serious problem.
Tzu Chi has been promoting environmental concerns domestically, and especially marine garbage, which is really important to Jinmen. We can continue to protect the water surrounding Jinmen and the rest of our ocean ecology.
Through creative, artistic license, environmental concerns have been placed in people's hearts, reminding everyone to not throw garbage into the ocean anymore and leave a clean home for them to live in.
At the 228 Peace Memorial Park in Taipei, Taiwan, Tzu Chi stem cell donor registration event was held in collaboration with the Rotary Club's blood donation drive. The impact of the pandemic means that stem cell donor registration has been down, and to increase the chance for blood disease patients, the two organizations hope through this combined effort that more people are willing to roll up their sleeves and help a family out.
It's a hot day in Taiwan, but the Tzu Chi stem cell donor registration event is even more on fire. Right at the start of the event, over 10 people came to sign up.
If something within me can do something for someone else, it seems like a pretty good thing.
I think it's easier now. It can be done similar to a blood donation, not have to undergo surgery, so it's not bad.
This time, the event was held in partnership with the Rotary Club, as the Shuangxi Rotary Club president wanted to raise awareness. His friend, Cai Ying-zhen, who was a photographer, suffered from leukemia. She had a match, but before she could receive the transplant, she passed away. Her family held a photography exhibition auction to raise funds for the Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center.
The Rotary Club was to hold a blood donation drive. Couldn't I combine it together so that the blood disease patients don't have to wait that long?
In the past, an average of 360 matches can be made annually. However, this year, due to the pandemic, matches are about one-third of that.
Our current method is to transport frozen stem cells to overseas matches, but we don't want to continue with that method. We hope to soon provide fresh peripheral blood stem cells. This is why we hope for the end of the pandemic.
Past transplant patients are here to say thanks to future donors, as it's only due to the selflessness of the donors that patients may gain a second chance at life.
Many of Taiwan's Olympic athletes come from humble beginnings, such as boxing bronze medalist Huang Xiaowen. Her parents divorced when she was a child. Her father was sent to jail 3 times. Needless to say, he was often away from home as she relied upon her grandfather, who drove a taxi to support her. She worked diligently and showed great determination in the athletic field of competition to become a champion. Take a look.
I warn you, my house is a bit simple. Please forgive me. Grandpa, open the door for me. Our home is very small and it gets very hot in the summer. And Grandpa is reluctant to turn on the air conditioner.
Grandpa drives a taxi to make money to raise Xiaowen. In the past, in order to save more money, the elderly often went out to work overtime in the middle of the night.
There's no adult in the house, so I had to wait until she sleeps before I go out.
When I was in kindergarten, I covered my stomach with this when I went to sleep. So I carry it with me when I go abroad. Yes, I can't sleep without it.
When she was young, she didn't have any parents by her side. This quilt and bed full of dolls were Xiaowen's good friends who helped her grow up.
It used to be a very cute little bear, but it was discarded by its owner. I felt bad while it was abandoned. Maybe it became bad and I should correct it. Why did it go bad? It can't go bad. In the movie Toy Story, some of the toys got better later. They were actually like me. I was abandoned by my mother. Boxing is actually a combination of strength and beauty.
Injuries are part of the sport. When she won the Olympic bronze medal, the pressure of 10 years of hard training finally melted away and tears came flooding out.
I was weeping with joy. I was moved and really happy. I feel that the hard work is really worth it. I was brought up by my grandfather since I was young, so in fact, I have always wanted to be able to give back to my grandfather.
She has a grateful and humble heart. She learned slowly and finally got to this point today. Of course, she has the opportunity to change her family's life.
牌举起来，看正前方，先看正前方。得到这面奖牌。
In addition to giving this medal to my dad, I also want to dedicate it to my coach, who is also my second father.
哎，面对他，出拨坐 ，OK。
Coach Liu Zhongtai frankly admits that 9 out of 10 students in his boxing team come from troubled family backgrounds. He uses discipline and love to guide rebellious teenagers. Without him, there would be no Huang Xiaowen today.
If she finishes training too early, or if she goes back too early, she has nowhere to go. So I told her that she can simply treat this place like her home.
大家身体健康，事事顺心，各个比赛拿冠军，耶！
In fact, I used to hate birthdays. The coach will bring everyone together to help celebrate your birthday. Well, I will feel that someone is really happy to help me celebrate my birthday. Also, because of the coach and boxing, I have a focus in my life.
While the tattoos on her arms are all cartoons of young women, when it comes to the Taiwan pattern, she is immediately full of patriotism.
When others see my tattoos and ask me which one is the most meaningful, I would say Taiwan, because it's my country.
The most special tattoo are the 2 lines of English words below the collarbone, which was when she gave up boxing for a while. Actually, her father did this tattoo for her with his own hands.
Dad helped me tattoo this, and I kept it in my heart. Every time when I change clothes for the match, I will always touch it and think of it.
Although her father is in jail because of a crime, his loving heart for his daughter remains the same. Xiaowen bravely fought in Olympic competitions and not only won glory for the country, but also successfully changed the outside world's perspective of her family.
Currently, I'm planning to buy a house. I hope to buy a better home for Grandpa and Dad. I told my dad that you have to share the burden with me. I used to feel that I was the only one going on in life. I asked my dad to come with me together.
The child who grew up in this little alley has now become an Olympic hero. Because of Xiaowen's success, the life of 3 generations are now moving in the right direction. 77-year-old Zhang Shixian joined Tzu Chi in 1989. After retiring from the Environmental Protection Bureau, he became more involved in recycling. In Taiwan, he often walks into different communities and schools to promote recycling and other positive aspects of his life. We leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.